Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is a Wildcat Wednesday, and we are fortunate enough to be joined by Tara Solomon-Smith of the Wildcat Extension District, Kansas State Research and Extension. Tara, thank you so much for joining us because you have an interesting topic and activity that you're going to show us this morning, but it comes down to the topic of resiliency. Now, how would you define resiliency, and what's kind of your elevator speech when you talk about the importance of it?
Sure. So resiliency is the ability to bounce back from a difficult situation. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't feel like I bounce back as good as others. For example, for some students, a C on a test may not be any big deal, but it might be life-altering for another. So that's an example of resiliency. And it is important so that we can be our best selves and be able to be the best that we can be for our families and coworkers and those that are around us.
Well, another thing too is coming off of what we've had, I was going to say the past calendar year, but seemingly it's been about 2.5 years that we've all been trying to bounce back from one thing or another. How important is it to reinforce or maybe educate people about resiliency, especially with what we've been through, whether it be pandemic, whether it be personal losses? How important is that become to you?
Oh, absolutely. You're exactly right. The last two years have been the perfect example that, we're just just feel like we're getting by, surviving, getting through the day. And sometimes you have to be there. But for the long haul, resiliency is important. This activity comes from Your Thoughts Matter. So mental health obviously is a topic right now more than ever, just coping strategies and dealing with stress, which we've all been through.
Yeah, I want to dive into this activity with you because you've got a hammer sitting right there.
I do.
I got to see.
Right?
Will you walk us through this resiliency activity?
Yes, so this is easy to do, whether you're at home, in your classroom, or I did this with adults at YMCA last week. So you just grab things that are around you. Okay. I have a banana, a bouncy ball, a rubber band, paper clips, some chips, and a sweatshirt and a water bottle. You can be empty or full.
Okay.
So just anything that's close by at your house. And you're going to test the resiliency of these items with, you're right, you saw my hammer here. So it could be a stress reliever, just the activity in itself, right? But you just test these items with a hammer, and then you talk about, well, what are some characteristics of low and high resiliency? For example, the group I did last week with YMCA, when I smashed the banana, what do you think it looked like?
It's going to be a mess, but like you said, it may be a little fun.
Right. So what they said, but you can make banana bread out of it now. And that is the spot on an example of how to cultivate resiliency. Instead of focusing on why is this happening, focus on, okay, so what are some steps I can do to move forward, to improve, or what did I learn from this situation, instead of only focusing on what's going on and why it's happening. So that was a perfect example.
Essentially, with the exercise with the hammer, is it how I come out on the other end?
Yeah, and it can just teach you what may be a characteristic resiliency. For example, this sweatshirt, my K-State sweatshirt. I pounded on it, and the indention stayed. So that's a great example of taking care of yourself. So, there was nothing inside this sweatshirt. So just like a pitcher of water, the more you pour out, and if it's empty and you don't refill it, it's not going to bounce back quite as well. So it's very important to find out what it means to take care of yourself. And you want to be sure to include some fun. What's
some of the feedback that you've gotten from people after they've gone through this lesson?
Yeah, so I think that they, after brainstorming some sources of joy and comfort in those coping strategies, there were some light bulb moments as far as, something as simple as just stepping away and listening to some music might help me be able to come back to this stressful situation a little bit better. It doesn't have to be anything big, but something that works for you.
You know, if you're leading an organization, a company, and you want to get in touch with Tara and maybe get some tips on how to help your employees through what's certainly been a rough 2 years. Tara, how do they get in touch with you if they want to learn more about resiliency?
Absolutely. Love to hear from anybody. Call one of our offices. They'll connect you to me. Email tsolomon@ksu.edu. Facebook message us. However you want to connect, we'll be there for you.
Tara Solomon-Smith, I want to thank you. Tara, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. I did not do that at the beginning, and I apologize for that. K-State Wildcat District, you guys do amazing stuff for us, and we appreciate having you on each and every Wildcat Wednesday.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, great to see you. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.